Hi everybody, it's Michael Buckley and welcome to the third episode of Love Buck, where I answer your dating, sex, relationship questions. I'm joined by my friend Bret today. Hey Bret!
Hey y'all!
Bret is also a YouTuber. We made a Struggles is Reels that will go up next Wednesday. We also did a Disney Challenge singing video that will go up on his channel, so I'll check links below so you can find Bret. Bret is also a Broadway star. You can go see him in Paramore in New York City, the Cirque du Soleil show, and he is also a life coach, so I thought he'd be more than qualified to give some advice to you. Let's go. Andrew says, I've been in a relationship for 2 years, it's great. She is the one. My problem is the fuck buddy, thank you Andrew, I had before I got into the relationship. She keeps trying to hang out with me and such. I want to tell her to fuck off. Andrew, but I don't want to be mean, LOL. My girlfriend doesn't know or care about my previous relationships. So I don't see the problem here except that your fuck buddy is trying to hang out with you and you want to tell her to fuck off but you don't want to be mean. Isn't there a nice way to tell someone to fuck off? There's a nice way, right?
Yeah, you say, hey, do you mind I'm in a relationship?
It's very simple. You're giving her, the problem is you're giving her some sort of signal, or you're replying to text and you're implying something to her that makes it appropriate for her to keep hitting on you. So it's your job as the person who doesn't want it to be very clear and communicate and say, appreciate you flirting, but I'm in a relationship with someone now and it's not appropriate, so please do not contact me like this again. Period. That's nice, that's not mean. That's how you tell someone to fuck off and respect your space and your current relationship. That goes for anybody. But again, you're putting yourself in the situation. Don't be mad at your fuck buddy, be mad at yourself for not nipping it in the bud.
My question for you is, why are you putting yourself in that situation?
What are you getting out of it? Because you're like one of those typical people. It's like, I like attention from everybody, but you're in a relationship with someone who's the one, but you still like the flirt. So it's like, you're getting something out of this. So, but you need to cut her out of respect to your current relationship and out of respect for yourself and out of respect to her, because she needs to go forward and find someone who wants to be with her, which clearly is not you. Shannon says, dearest Buck, thank you for that, dearest Shannon. I'm the kind of person who wants what she can't have. Typical. In other words, I constantly fall for famous people, people currently in happy relationships, and people who quite frankly aren't into me. Whenever I do happen to be lucky enough to get some reciprocated feelings, my interest just melts. I panic and leave the other person in the dust. How do I stop pining for those I will never have, and how do I stop panicking whenever someone has interest in me? Thank you, Shannon.
Shannon. Yes. Shannon, so I know a lot of people like this. I've heard of, it's understandable that you're putting yourself in a situation where you're drawn to perhaps talent, you're drawn to fame, you're drawn to people who have...
Unavailable too.
Right. How do you answer this?
My thought with you, Shannon, is I feel like you're someone who's probably very young and you're not ready to be in a serious relationship because this is self-sabotage. And when you're ready to be in a serious relationship, you'll stop being interested in people who are unattainable, because people who are really wanting to be in a serious relationship don't go after married people. They don't go after famous people on TV. They go after people who they have access to. And by you saying flat out, when people like me, I don't like them back, that's a huge flag saying she doesn't want a relationship right now. So I feel like you just need to be patient with yourself, allow yourself to be young and fun and enjoy life and enjoy these little crushes on famous people, but know when you're older and you're more wanting a relationship, the right relationship will work itself out. I think this is you. This totally makes sense. This is totally clear. You don't want a relationship right now. You don't want a serious boyfriend. You like having fantasies. And the fact that people like you and you don't like them back is just like, that's you being like, and you'll do mental things to trick yourself. Oh, they're not good enough, or oh, they're not whatever, where it's just like, nope, you're just not, you don't want a relationship right now. You don't want a serious boyfriend, and that's fine.
Yeah, and Shannon, it also sounds like perhaps you need to work on your relationship with yourself a little bit, because it sounds to me like if you're focusing on people who are unavailable, what is available is your relationship with yourself, and perhaps the amount of energy you're putting into all of this fantasy should go into yourself so that you are strong enough so when the right person does come along, you know exactly what it is you're looking for, what you want, and who that person's supposed to be.
It'll be much clearer once you've done the work on yourself. That's the biggest mistake people make, is they throw themselves into relationships and it's like they don't even know who they are. are.
Yeah.
Me as a divorcee, same thing. I'm spending this time getting to know me as a single person. I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm just getting to know me as me, and then eventually I'll find someone, but I'm not looking, blah, blah, blah. This isn't about me, Shannon. Layla says, hi, I'm Layla. Hey, Layla. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I know. I love your stuff and always have. Thanks for being a real kind person. I met this girl in January and fell for her. I eventually sent her a message and introduced myself. We talked constantly for a few months and then it died down. From then, it was mainly me initiating conversation. She replied after hours, only answering some things and skipping over others. She won't talk to me, but she still goes out with our mutual friends, which makes me think maybe I'm not good enough for her. She seems like she enjoys my company and then she disappears. She hasn't said anything to me in 2 months and I don't know what to do. I really care about her, she's gay. The girls I find myself close to are usually taken or straight, same thing as the last one. I like her a lot, is any of this my fault? Should I give up on her? Thank you, best wishes, Layla. Yes, Layla. I mean, you have to give up on her because she, you know, people are very clear. I said this last week about when girls are asking about boys and they're like, does he like me? Men are very clear. If they like you, they don't send a lot of mixed signals. This girl it seemed like she was trying to let you down easy. She wasn't overly replying to your text. She wasn't, it's always you initiating conversations, and she hasn't said anything to you in 2 months, so yes, the answer is let it go because there's nothing to keep on to.
Layla, this question right here, though, is the problem for me. Am I not good enough for her?
That's not
even a question, right? Yeah. If she's not, this has nothing to do with you being good enough for her, she's probably not good enough for you.
Right. And it's not even a bad and good, it's just sometimes a mismatch, and so you've never had a conversation, you've never said to her, hey, do you like me that way? Why don't you like me? So you're just going off of you're sitting at home thinking about this too much, so it's like, there's nothing here, so you do like her a lot, but let it go and find someone who is reciprocating these feelings.
If you let this go, you're gonna make yourself available for somebody else,
right,
who's totally available and totally wants you for who you are.
Right, and like you said, you were mainly instigating the conversations, initiating them, and she wasn't, so it's like, she doesn't like you the way she likes you, and that's, I give you permission. You're over it. We're never thinking of her as a possible romantic partner again. That's it. Never think of her that way again, Layla. All right? That's it. That was easy. Hi, Michael. My name is Christina. I'm 26 years old. I've been a follower of yours for several years. I've been divorced for 10 months from my ex-husband who was abusive physically, verbally, and sexually, and cheated on me multiple times throughout the entire 7 years we were together, 3 of those married. Ugh. I keep finding myself having memories of the small good times that were happening and playing the what-if game with myself. I know in my mind that I'm better off without my ex in my life, as he isn't safe nor a positive person for me to be around, but my heart is struggling to see that. How can I hold my head up, be confident, and move forward into a happier life filled with positivity? Thanks, Christina. Well, I mean, congratulations for leaving your abusive relationship, because that's amazing. You should be holding your head very high up over that. And don't feel bad about having this, because that's, you know, I think every divorced person or every person after a relationship, even if it wasn't a great relationship, you find yourself feeling weak and vulnerable and remembering the good times. So just so you know, that makes perfect sense. You're not weak, you're not a bad person. It's like, that makes sense. It's like you said, it's your heart. Your heart tricks your brain, and then your brain tricks your heart. It's just this circular, oh God. I'm telling you though, what if is not a helpful or productive game in any circumstances, certainly not yours. My advice to you is to come up with a mantra, because I love mantras. I find them very helpful, and it's like a mantra, like you keep it in your journal, you keep it on your affirmation board, you keep it in your wallet, so it's always there. And a mantra is basically 3 or 4 sentences, and it's something for you like, I didn't want to be married to him. He hurt me very badly. My life is now full of opportunities and possibilities, or something like that. So you remind yourself why you left, and then you also then throw in the 2 or 3 sentences that affirm all the wonderful things that's gonna happen now that you're no longer with him. So that's my advice.
I would also try this thing I call reframing. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, where when the question comes up like, what if? So you start to think in your head, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? You start to replace it with what next, right? Or what, so it's forward thinking and not backward thinking. So you're thinking, hey, what next? What is the life I want to create now? So that you're not thinking so much about what was, you're thinking about what is and what will be, and you get to choose that today, in this moment, right now. All of that stuff in the past is done. the only thing that exists right now, and you get to make that decision in this moment.
I love it. So replace your what ifs with what next.
Yes.
Perfect. This is last. It's from Katie. This is a sex question, actually. Dear Buck, I've been married for 2.5 years. I love my husband. We have a great marriage except for sex. I thought I was doing the right thing by waiting until we were married to have sex. So the first time we did was on our wedding night. It was horribly painful and not at all the experience I had waited so long for. Problem is, we've been married for over 2 years and it's still painful, even using lube. My gynecologist told me everything down there is normal for me, so maybe my husband's penis is just unusually large. I have a really hard time wanting to be intimate when it's so uncomfortable, but at the same time, I don't want his needs unmet. Society and media makes you think that a huge penis is the key to sexual satisfaction, but that couldn't be farther from the truth for me. He obviously can't do anything to change his size, so I have no choice but to tough it out, and it just feels unfair to me. I want sex to be a fulfilling part of our marriage, but right now it isn't. Any advice is appreciated. Thank you. Sincerely, Mrs. Wishing I had a wide set vagina. Wishing I had a wide set vagina.
I love that song.
That's my favorite song.
Angela Weber.
What do you think?
Well, I think first off, there are other things besides intercourse that can satisfy you and him.
Yeah.
So what about oral sex? What about foreplay? What about getting you off before he gets off? There are ways to manage this issue.
Right, because you're saying, you're not like, I hate my husband. You want to please him, you want to have sex, so I agree complete with Bret. You know, manual stimulation, oral stimulation. I think communication is going to be most important for you to figure this out, because it is only 2 years into your marriage and you are not experienced sexually. So it's good that you went to the gynecologist and talked about it. That's very good. Also, I would advise you to, masturbate and maybe get like 2 dildos, whereas like one is smaller than him and then one is like exactly his size. So it's like you warm up with the smaller one to kind of get your vagina ready for sex, and then as you go on, and you can even tell him, you can say, honey, I've got the small, honey, I just love that big dick of yours. There's a way to be sexy about it, but I need you to warm me up a little bit. And so you do it by yourself, but then you also involve him, so it becomes a sex game and you make it so fun. Like, well, I'm gonna take that big dick of yours. So I'm being honest.
I just did not expect to hear any of this out of your mouth.
You're welcome. So you get a smaller dildo, and then you get a dildo that matches his penis, and you just work on taking that dildo. And that's my best advice, but also communicate and other forms of sex besides intercourse.
I think that because of this lack of experience, you guys need to make it an event.
Yep.
It needs to be like a session that you schedule the time.
Yep.
You need to do a lot of foreplay, like he's saying, and then kind of lead into it, and it doesn't always have to be intercourse. There are other ways to satisfy yourselves, and maybe instead of letting him get off, let him get you off for a little bit.
Right. And don't be stressed, because it's like if you're stressed about initiating sex because you're afraid it's going to be painful, whereas if you turn it into oh, I'm so excited tonight, honey, I'm going to give you the best blowjob ever, and I'd love for you to go down on me for a little while, let's have fun. You turn sex into a game and not like a chore. That's advice for all married couples. You turn sex into a game and a fun event, not like a chore, like, oh, I've got to go get him off, or oh, I've got to accommodate this huge dick. But I mean, so in terms of practical advice, work on your vagina with a smaller dildo, but in terms of emotional advice, work on the communication and pleasing each other with non-intercourse sex.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Bret. Check out his YouTube channel, link below, and we'll be making more videos again soon. Welcome, goodbye. And see you next week for Love Buck. Mwah. Blow kiss. Yay. That was good.
That's great.
You're doing such good service for people. Wow.
Thanks.